Good morning! Don't mind the fact that I look like a giant grease ball. I'm putting Aquaphor on my face because apparently the older you get, the drier your skin gets. And that's a testament to the eczema on my eyelids. But hi, how are you? How are things? I kind of wanted to chit chat with you guys while I get shit done around the house because stuff needs to be done. Per usual, what's new? I have had some sort of an epiphany, almost. Is that the right word? I got some flowers from Trader Joe's the other day and I'm so excited because I've been wanting to make a bouquet, and unfortunately I feel like I waited a little too long because my hydrangeas are wilted, but apparently if you put them in cold water, it'll revive them. I am really hoping and praying that this works. I wanted to talk to you guys because I am almost 30. I'm 29 years old and I'm so excited to get older. And I feel like what I've been hearing from people has been honestly negative and annoying. I've mostly been getting like, oh my God, you're turning 30. You better enjoy the last year in your 20s. You better, you know, do it up before you're like this old fucking lady. And I'm like, y'all need to relax, because I feel like society has made it this annoying personality trait that anything over 25 is like, you're done, you're dead, you're old, you're a senior citizen at this point. Like, point me to my nearest nursing home. When I hear people say 30s are the new 20s kind of thing, I'm just like, 30s are not the new 20s, and I don't want them to be, because if I can recall, in my early 20s, I was putting toothpaste on my pimples, hoping and praying that it would cure my acne. Newsflash, it didn't. If I also recall correctly, I was also dating a man who somehow convinced me he was a part of the cartel and then ran away from the cartel and had $1 million stashed away somewhere. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds, I don't know, kind of unbelievable. Did I fall for it? Absolutely. Which is weird because I was thinking, why do you have $1 million stashed away and yet you're still so broke? No shade, no tea. I was also broke as fuck too. I just don't want to go back to a time that was chaotic with barely any sense of direction.
I am very grateful for my early 20s though, because I learned a lot of lessons that I can now apply into my later 20s and into my 30s. And I feel like because I learned those lessons in my earlier 20s, baby, my 30s are going to be amazing.
I do not know what I'm doing when it comes to floral arrangements, so I'm just going with whatever looks and feels right. I feel like the industry has a great way of targeting women. Number one, women are the biggest consumers in most markets. And listen, the beauty industry, the fashion industry preys on the insecurities of women, and that's how they make their money. And I feel like I see a lot of like products, a lot of procedures marketed heavily towards women, and unfortunately we end up buying it up because we feel like we have to be the youngest, the hottest versions of ourselves, which is not true. I feel like there's something to be said about aging gracefully. I feel like women oftentimes have this pressure of wanting to appear youthful and be youthful, and it's honestly too much work and it's nonsense. When it comes to men and aging, it's like a totally different tune. Men are like giving zaddy energy. It's like once they start growing in the grays, it's like, oh my God, like so-and-so is so fine. Take Idris Elba, for example. That man is fine as hell. As he's gotten older, people are like, oh my God, he's giving daddy energy. Same thing with Brad Pitt, Matthew McConaughey. All these men are now like giving daddy energy or silver fox energy, and they're getting older and they're praised for their wrinkles and crinkles and gray hairs. Meanwhile, women are demonized, which I'm not gonna lie to you. As Dan gets older, that man is 30 and that man is fine as hell. My toxic trait is seeing something online, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever, and thinking I could recreate the exact same thing. And I'm not gonna lie to you, my bouquet is giving very much scarcity mindset. But you know what? At least I have live flowers in the house. I've been wanting to get some flowers to add some color into the home because decor right now is not all the way put together. But you know what? We're trying. We're trying. Also, these hydrangeas, RIP. They did not They did not come back to life.
I feel like there is an obsession with youth, whether it's tied to our value as people, as women. And growing up, I would hear the women in my family talk about having to maintain a certain look. I think about that and I'm like, aging is a sign that you've lived life. And what a privilege it is to be able to do so.
Guys, what do we think? I feel like I did a pretty decent job. Obviously, it's not perfect, but like once I just kind of stopped thinking too hard about it, I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna put everything together and hope it sticks. And it kind of stuck. I don't know. Am I lying to myself? I'm actually really proud of myself. Now I have this whole ass mess to clean up.
I normally don't come out here as much, but I need to start doing that more often, especially since the weather is getting a lot nicer. So sounds a little perverted. Going back to what I was talking about earlier, I feel like society has a way of villainizing getting older, but truthfully, honestly, I feel like as I am getting older, life is getting better. It's like I've been marinating over time and now it's just my life is delicious, if that makes sense. With getting older, I've been able to have so many different experiences, whether it's been cultural, whether it's been life experiences, like becoming a mom in the last year, which is so wild to me because I feel like I am 17 years old and I got pregnant. It's giving teen pregnancy. Also with other experiences like being able to travel and being able to afford that financially. Ask me at 21, 22, 23 if I could be able to afford it. Absolutamente no. Now I'm able to do things like go across the world and experience other cultures and truly appreciate it. Now that I'm getting older, I'm also realizing how much more autonomy I have over my life. I'm sorry, I almost laughed because I'm thinking about that video of that woman on TikTok. I think it's the BBL gym woman who literally went on TikTok and was like, this is my full facial autonomy. I feel like as I'm getting older, I have more control over my life. And of course, with more control and power comes more responsibility, which can be very expensive, unfortunately. I mean, have you seen the inflation in the grocery stores? Why are cherries $20? I'm not gonna lie to you, of course, with getting older and having more of these responsibilities, it can be difficult. It's all worth it because I get to live in my own space at the ripe age of 29 in my own home with my own family and do things my way. Growing up, I did not have that autonomy. I wouldn't even be allowed to go out and play some days. I just grew up in a very sheltered, conservative home, which was very tough and I feel like very niche. I'm pretty sure other immigrants can relate to having pretty strict parents who monitor your every single move. Now that I'm older, I have a control over my routine. What do my mornings look like? Even if they are a little frazzled, I have the power to change it. I have control over what I want to eat, how I want to eat, what I want to do for the day, for a career, all the things. I also get to set boundaries. Oh my god, we left that word, boundaries. Whereas when I was younger, I would let people cross my boundaries and I didn't even realize that in certain instances I needed to have boundaries because when you're younger, unfortunately, sometimes you don't realize when you're being disrespected and you feel like you have to sacrifice and give so much. And sometimes growing up, I felt like I had no control and no power over my life, and I let people walk all over me. I let people disrespect me. Not today, baby. All right? I feel like as I've gotten older, I've started to learn about self-respect, self-love, and what that looks like and what that means to me. And not just when it comes to boys, and not just when it comes to friends, but also when it comes to family members. And that's something that has come over time with age, and I think with confidence and being able to stand up for myself, which is a lesson I've had to learn over and over and over again, especially in my earlier 20s. And now I am able to do that. Touching on autonomy as well, I've been able to do things like go to therapy. Now, growing up, therapy was like very taboo. It was very like, you don't do that because that means you're insane, and you're not insane. Like, no girl, I'm not insane. I am just insanely depressed and super anxious and working through a lot of PTSD. Now that I'm older, I'm able to do things like that to make me feel better. I'm in a much better space than I was in my earlier 20s. I've been able to make certain decisions as a full-blown adult to get me to this place.
I am quite literally running behind. I have, God, it's hot. I am getting ready to go out for a girls' night and I'm running behind. God, it's so hot. I don't want to sweat out my hair. Lord, please give me a gust of wind.
I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm getting hotter. I mean, I feel like my skin is getting better. I feel like my body is bodying, especially after having a baby. Okay, these curves, ugh. I think what really has taken me over the edge is that I have been working on my emotional and mental health over the past couple of years. Am I where I want to be? No, but I've been building up my confidence, working on how I feel about myself, and it's been translating on the outside. I feel like I'm dressing in a way that highlights my beauty instead of shrinking myself, which is what I used to do before because I wanted to be as invisible as possible. And I feel like the more I love on myself, the more you can see it on the outside.
Oh my God. Aaron, if you're watching this, because you're such a supportive friend, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh God, the drama, the anxiety. God, thank God we're going to a restaurant that has low lighting and you can't see how poorly I applied the skin tint. God, it's hot as tits. But I am realizing as I'm getting older, I'm finding things that suit me. I'm not saying like my fashion is, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm figuring it out. But I think now more than ever, I am having a lot more fun figuring out what suits me. I think what I used to do when I was younger, in my earlier 20s, I would try to blend in. And here's the thing, right? There's only so much blending in that someone like me can do. I'm not saying I'm super extraordinary and I'm like the hottest thing walking. Well, I am. To myself. I also feel like there are certain things that no longer suit me. I am at a place where I no longer want to blend in with everybody else just to disappear or make myself invisible, because I used to do that so much when I was younger. When I was younger, I used to try and fit in. It was not a good look on me. It was not a good look for me because I was participating in trends and things that just didn't either suit me or just did not feel comfortable.
The older I get, the more I am catering to me and myself, and I, quite frankly, don't really care about what and how people perceive me, and it's such a freedom that I've been able to gain as I've been getting older. Not to say that I don't have insecurities and I'm perfect, because I'm still working on me, but I have the confidence and self-love to be able to do so. I'm rushing off to dinner. Love you guys. Until next time.